Are you really failing, or are you being trained? If you've ever given your all and still came up short, don't walk away just yet. Because every setback might be the map to your clarity and resilience. You've learned so much, but how much are you actually living? Wisdom isn't about how much you know. It's about this. Can you live it, especially when no one's watching? Are you becoming someone else, or finally coming back to yourself? Comparison doesn't drive growth, it steals your alignment. This isn't just motivation, it's a blueprint to help you learn from failure, live what you know, and finally build a life that feels like yours. Chapter 1. Failure is fuel. Have you ever felt like your best effort just wasn't good enough? You studied, you showed up, you gave everything, and it fell short. The door didn't open. The world didn't notice. Here's something I learned the hard way. Failure is not the end. It's data, it's feedback, it's life whispering, let's try that again, but wiser. We're taught to fear failure, to avoid it, to hide it. But what if failure is exactly what you need? Let me tell you about James. He launched 5 startups, each one failed. He lost money, friends, confidence. Then on the 6th try, he built a simple tech tool to organize daily tasks, not flashy, not earth-shattering, but because he failed so much before, he already knew what not to do. This time it worked. The small tool grew quietly, then exponentially. Now millions depend on it. He didn't succeed despite failures. He succeeded because of them. The Stoic said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Obstacles aren't detours, they're blueprints. Think about it. A baby learning to walk falls a lot. We don't quit on them, we cheer. Because falling leads to balance. In time, confidence grows. It's the same with us. You're not falling because you're weak. You're falling because you're learning. Failure trains your brain. Each misstep gives you data about yourself, your plan, your path, that info. It's gold if you use it. Ever look back and think, if I'd known then what I know now? That's failure's gift, bringing you to knowing. Neuroscience backs it. Trial and error rewires your brain faster than passive learning, but only if you reflect. Failing without reflection equals repeated mistakes. Failing with curiosity equals real transformation. Remember, Angry Birds, that mega hit was game number 52. 51 flops before an explosive success. Each failure was a lab, each flop a lesson. That's not luck, that's resilience powered by awareness. So next time you fail, don't walk away, write it down. What did I try? What happened? What can I do differently next time? This habit shifts your direction, turns I fail and quit into I fail forward. Your failures don't define you. Your response does. Many hide their mistakes, delete, deny. Winners, they honor their failures. They mine them for wisdom. You don't need more motivation. You need a new relationship with failure. Because failure is not rejection. It's redirection, not punishment, but precision. And above all, failure is not a reason to stop. It's a reason to restart. Smarter. Ask yourself, when was the last time you did something, knowing you might fail, and did it anyway? That's not weakness, that's courage. Purest form. The Stoics weren't emotionless. They felt deeply but didn't freeze. They turned adversity into advantage, not by dodging pain, but by respecting its message. Here's your challenge. View failure as a teacher, not punishment, not a blot on your record, but a powerful teacher with real insight. You're not broken for failing. You are becoming. Just like a sword, hammered and sharpened, your setbacks are shaping your edge. So next time you fall short, don't crumble, don't run, don't self-destruct. Ask, what is this moment here to teach me? Then learn, adapt, try again. Because who you're becoming, the stronger version of you, is not waiting for success. They're waiting for you to fail and grow. That's how you meet them. Not in victory, but in that quiet moment of honesty where you turn setback into the starting line. Chapter 2. Live what you've learned. Let me ask something personal. Have you ever read a book, watched a video, or heard a speech that made your heart say, yes, this is it, this is what I needed? You nodded, highlighted, shared it with a friend, but then nothing changed. Same habits, same patterns, same reactions. Why? Because understanding is not transformation. Knowing is not the same as living. Many of us collect wisdom like ornaments neatly placed on a mental shelf, but never used. The Stoics had no patience for that. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Stop thinking it, start living it." Imagine this, you've read every discipline book, watched motivational videos, quoted powerful lines to yourself. Tonight, it's 11:30 p.m., you're tired. You promised yourself you'd work out, right? Pray do something that matters. This is the moment of truth. What do? Because that quiet choice when no one's watching reveals what you truly believe. It's not about information anymore. It's about embodiment. Real philosophy, the kind that shapes lives, doesn't happen on stages. It happens in kitchens, bedrooms, traffic jams, and hard conversations. It's how you respond when you're disrespected. Whether you pick up the phone first thing in the morning or pause for gratitude. That split second between feeling anger and choosing not to act on it. That is where you either live what you've learned or let it collect dust. A friend, Daniel, used to quote Stoics, like scripture, Epictetus, Seneca, Marcus. But when life got hard, he unraveled, lost temper, blamed others, fell into despair. I asked him, what's the point of all that knowledge if it doesn't show up when it matters most? He looked at me and said, "You're right. I've been learning, but not applying." That hit hard. We all do it. We collect quotes, chase inspiration, but wisdom without action is just decoration. Epictetus didn't say, "Read this." He said, "Practice this." Practice means repetition, not just when it feels good, but every day, especially when it doesn't. Consistency is the proof of belief. If you say discipline matters, but hit snooze every morning, what does that say? If you value peace, but lash out in traffic, what does that reveal? If you're about growth, but avoid hard conversations, are you living what you've learned? This isn't shame. It's a wake-up call, an invitation to realign, not to others' expectations, but with what you know matters. That's the beauty of philosophy, not about appearing wise, but becoming whole. Becoming someone your past self would be proud of, someone your future self can trust. You don't need more theories, you need more follow-through. Because the tiniest act lived in truth is worth more than 1,000 words said with no weight. So, here's a simple challenge. Pick one idea you've learned, just one, and live it today. Fully, boldly, quietly. If you learn patience, show it to the person who frustrates you. If you learn focus, turn off distractions and finish something you've delayed. If you learn kindness, send that thoughtful message, offer an apology, or hold space for someone hurting. These aren't grand gestures, they're powerful acts of alignment. The more you align your life with your values, the less conflict you'll feel inside. You'll stop feeling like a student pretending to be wise. You'll become someone becoming wise, one step at a time. Let me end with this. You don't have to live perfectly. You just have to live honestly with your time, your energy, your values. Because at the end of the day, the most powerful sentence isn't, "I know this," it's, "I live this." And that is when your philosophy finally becomes your way of life. Chapter 3, Speak to be understood, not to impress. Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling unheard? You spoke, you explained, you made your point, but still, nothing landed. You felt unheard, dismissed. I've been there, maybe. You have to. We often think communication is about how well we speak, but real communication isn't about sounding clever. It's about whether the other person leaves understanding what we meant. That's a radical shift in goal. Too often, we speak to impress, to show our depth, our intelligence, but in doing so we forget the most important listener, the other person's mind. Imagine speaking to a child about something important. Would you use jargon or complex logic? No. You'd simplify, you'd adjust, not because truth changed, but because clarity matters more than performance. We forget this when speaking at other adults. A quote I love, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough." The Stoics modeled exactly this. They didn't speak to look wise, they spoke to serve wisdom. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, they all chose clarity over grandeur. Words aren't ego ornaments. They are tools to connect minds. Let me share a story. A client, Michael Smart, creative, ambitious, was losing his team in meetings. Insight, vision, strategies galore. But people were confused. He said, I'm giving them everything. Why aren't they getting it? Watching his presentation, the truth was clear. He wasn't speaking to his team. He was speaking at them. Slides cluttered with buzzwords. Sentences bloated with $5 words. No one knew where to begin. He tried to sound brilliant, but brilliance without clarity is noise. I asked him, what matters more, sounding smart or being heard? That question transformed everything. When you're speaking from ego, you're speaking to be admired. When you speak from purpose, you're speaking to be understood. And that shift is where real communication begins. So, how do we speak to be understood? 1. Know your audience. Context, concerns, fears. Meet them where they are. 2. Strip away what's unnecessary. Complexity doesn't equal depth. Clarity often takes more courage than cleverness. 3. Use empathy as your compass. Every word is a bridge. Build it to connect, not to perform. 4. Lead with humility. You're not speaking to win. You're speaking to share. The most powerful communicators don't dominate. They listen. They shape words like water, not to impress, but to nourish. Think of someone in your life who truly made you feel seen. It wasn't their vocabulary, it was the space they created for you, the message crafted for your heart. Great communication opens, not overwhelms. It invites, not intimidates. Next time you feel tempted to be cunning in words, pause. Ask yourself, am I speaking to be understood or just to be admired? If connection is the goal, speak with clarity, speak with intention, speak with care for the listener, not the spotlight. You don't need to sound brilliant to make an impact. You just need to speak truthfully, plainly from the heart. That's how understanding begins. That's how your words stop floating and finally land where they were meant to, in someone else's life, making a real difference. Chapter 4. Clarity over comparison. Pause for a moment. Ask yourself, who are you really trying to impress? Who are you measuring your life against when you feel behind? Most of us grew up believing we had to be better, faster, more accomplished, more admired. But here's the truth. You're not here to win a race never meant for you. You're not here to be better than others. You're here to become clearer with yourself. There's a real difference between progress and performance, between growth and competition. When you chase someone else's life, their timeline, their image, their achievements, you abandon the most important question: what matters to me? Without clarity, life becomes noisy. You chase goals you never truly chose. You hustle for approval, not peace. And yet, no matter how far you go, it's never enough. But when you become clear with yourself, when you stop looking sideways and start looking inward, a quiet power returns. You realize the real work isn't beating someone, it's aligning with your values, living by your own code, not louder but truer. Clarity brings peace, it gives direction, it empowers you to say no to what looks impressive but feels empty. I've met executives with wealth but no purpose, athletes with medals but no meaning. They climbed ladders that weren't leaning on the right wall. But I've also met gentle souls, a teacher in a small town, a barista writing poetry at night, walking with deep alignment. They may not win by society's scoreboard, but they are awake, they are rooted, they are free, because they're not chasing someone else's life, they're living their own. If you've ever felt lost or behind, maybe the question isn't, how can I catch up? Maybe it's, where did I lose myself? You don't need to run faster. You need to come home to yourself. Clarity isn't stumbled upon. It's chosen, again and again. Every time you say yes to what matters, and no to what does, and single quotes because in the end, those who live well aren't the ones who go the farthest. They're the ones who go the most truthfully. You've heard the lessons. Now pause, breathe, and ask yourself, are you living what you know, or just collecting it? Because clarity isn't given. It's earned through resilience, through reflection, through choosing alignment over approval, one quiet decision at a time. As Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Your failure is not the end, it's your teacher. Your silence, not weakness but strength. Your peace, that's your greatest power. So now what will you do with this moment? What will you face? What will you let go of? Who will you become? When no one's watching, remember, you're not walking this path alone. This channel is a home for those who choose to live deliberately, to think clearly, to rise quietly but with purpose. If that's you, Subscribe now. Join the movement. We're not chasing noise, we're building wisdom together.